What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. My name is Nour Trades, and today I bring you another special day where I make $11,000, and it was filled with a bunch of mistakes. So we're gonna go ahead and break down my trades for today, and we're gonna talk about the mistakes that I made, and obviously we'll go through how I was able to successfully come out green today with the mistakes. So we're gonna start with Facebook. We'll go from Facebook to Amazon to Tesla. The first trade of the day was Facebook, so this is where we're gonna... Oh, by the way, we had a bunch of earnings today. We had Tesla, Facebook, Tesla, what was the... Oh, Chipotle. Yesterday we had Snapchat, and then we had Netflix. So we've had a bunch this week, and there's a bunch more to go. And the next week we have Amazon and Apple, I believe. It's gonna be crazy. Amazon contracts are like $13,000. Out the money are probably around 8. But yeah, so let me just quit out of that. So yeah, that was my chat. But so first things first, Snapchat had earnings yesterday, so Facebook popped on that news because, you know, investors look at it as if Snapchat's doing great, you know, Facebook must be doing great. They have Facebook, Instagram. That means social media, you know, the social media space is very healthy. So that's how investors look at it. It popped yesterday in after hours, as you can see. The pre-market, it popped, and the morning high was around 281. So if you look at it on a bigger chart, the stock had a catalyst, first of all. And then if you go to the 1 hour, actually, we'll go to the 4 hour. If you go to the 4 hour, you can see that the stock retested around, you know, 278, and we were already above that pre-market. So it fell below that, and then we ended up trying to retest it. If you go to the 1 hour, this was it. This was the high that we had recently. We were on an uptrend, that 279, almost 280 level. So I looked at 280 as the early entry. So I took 280 as my early entry, and the target was the pre-market high. Once it broke pre-market high, you could see that this wicked all the way up to 283. That was the high of the day. So what I did was I got in on that 280 break, or right before the 280 break, probably around 279. There was just a lot of buying. You could look at times and sales in level 2 at that time, and you saw that there was a lot of buying demand. Right before the 280 break, I got in. That was the early entry. Obviously, I'm taking the risk on getting in early, and I got in on the 280 break. This ended up pushing all the way up to the high of the day, which was, or pre-market, 281.50. I ended up selling in the middle of this candle because it kind of just, if you know, obviously it looks like it's a straight up candle. You know, it slightly pulled back, and I wanted to make sure I took my profits. But it was a very good trade. Facebook had a catalyst behind it. The chart looked good, and the momentum was running. So Facebook was the first trade. Great trade. Obviously, I could have held, but nobody sells or buys perfectly on timing. So that was my Facebook trade. The second trade was Amazon. Amazon is the one I made a mistake on. I was up on the day. As you can see, I'm only up $600 for the day on that. But at one point, it was around $5,000. So let me explain what I did. So first of all, if you go to the 5-day, you could see that we kept coming around 31, you know, 96, 31.95. We made a low yesterday of 31.92. So we were setting that low, and it looked like we were, you know, obviously the momentum for Amazon's to the downside. So we already know where the market sentiment is for, or at least Amazon sentiment is. It's to the downside. So if you look at Amazon, last 5 days, it's literally lower and lower highs. Forget about this line. This is on the bigger scale. I'll show you guys that later. But you could see 5 days ago. So this is today, yesterday, the day before, the day before. It's just lower highs, and it's just a downtrend. You can literally see it's just going down. So the market sentiment for Amazon, or the Amazon sentiment, is negative, and it's on a downtrend. So I used that 31.92 as support. As you can see, it broke 31.92 and just kept dropping all the way down to my next support that I've already had before market open of 31.72. It broke that all the way down to 31.64. What mistake did I do? So I got in on the original break, made a couple thousand, and then I got in on this break, which is the next support, whatever. We talked about the 31.92. That was my first entry. Great. I made the 5,000. Now let's talk about the mistake. I also came in and made more money on this break. So I got in right before the break. It dropped. I sold. I got out. Quick scalp, right? We ended up trying to make a new low, and I usually don't keep playing the new lows or the new highs. That's just not my thing. But today, I was sitting at the chair, and I was obviously, there was nothing going on in the market today. And during these trades, market sentiment was actually very negative. The market was actually selling off, so the market was working in my favor. We talked about that in the last chat, where I look at SPY, QQQ, ES, and a whole bunch of other things. So, the market was working in my favor to the downside, and Amazon looked great to the downside. So it was a great, collaboration there. So this is the 5-minute chart. If you put this on a 1 minute, this is what I went for. I went for the new low break. As you can see, it went from 3163 to 3160. I was up nicely, and I was okay. But then I'm like, all right, let's wait for the 3160. And 3160 was right there, and I went for it. And obviously, it took everything right back, and I came out with only $600 for the day. So I over traded on Amazon. I was just going for the little plays. I had, I'm supposed to sit there and say, this is not it. I got the big trade. Now it's time to walk away and look for anything else. So I didn't do that. I gave up some profits, and I walked away with only $600 on Amazon. Walk away. When you take the big trade, don't look for the little scalps. I was probably just thinking, like, let me make, a few more plays. I was also bored sitting at the table. So, those type of mistakes happen. Obviously, I don't, the whole point is to learn from them and make sure you don't do it again. Sorry, we cut off on the camera. But what I was saying is, it could have been much worse. I could have, lost, came out negative, whatever. We came out green. But we were up, so that's money that we earned, and we lost it. So you can't look at it like, oh, you only lost profit. You got to look at it as you worked for that profit, just like how you work a job, and you lost that money. So you lost hard-earned money, and I did because I did a dumbass trade. So that was the Amazon trade. Tesla, I really wouldn't count this as a trade. So if you look at Tesla on the 4-hour, you can see that this has a clear uptrend since June 29, 2020, which is a couple months now. July, August, September, October. We're kind of the end of October, but we'll count it 4 months. So that's 4 months here. And we just have a nice uptrend. As you can see, every time we got to this uptrend, we kind of bounced off. We kind of wick under though. But I was like, all right, this is my long position. I'll take it right before earnings. Risk versus reward is okay here. It's definitely decent. I didn't play with contracts. I played it with strictly shares. I bought 500 shares. This thing popped on earnings. You can call it an earnings play. I wouldn't blame you if you call it an earnings play. I looked at it as, the chart. Risk versus reward long-term looks nice. We also have earnings here, but the earnings was obviously the risk. It obviously popped here, so we took 500 shares. It popped. I ended up selling at 437, which is almost the peak. Obviously, it would have been very nice if I sold it at 441. So 437 was the sell, 437 and change, and we ended up coming out with a whopping $7,392 to save the day from that Amazon. So when I had the Amazon profits, I believe I was up $8,000 to $10,000. So we kind of got put back in the position that we were in the morning. And I kind of risked today's profit and yesterday's profit playing earnings. I know what was on the table with 500 shares. I was looking at, a possible loss, and I knew what loss I was looking at, and I knew what I was looking at. So risk versus reward was there for me. I liked what the chart was heading to. The risk was the earnings. Took the position, and then, called it a day. So that's the video. That's how I made $11,000. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Very simple day. And that was a great trade on Facebook. Wish I held a little bit longer. But I'll see you guys. Any more information, please check the description. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.